Okay, so before I get into anything I want to discuss about in this video, I just want to first introduce myself. So, first off, my name is Dustin Schaefbauer, and I am 24. I live in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, and also sometimes I refer to myself as DJC on YouTube, which that used to be the name of my old channel, even though my username used to be korn2012NWO. But the thing is, uh, so first off, to really discuss about what I want to say about myself first, just to get it out of the way. I am a professional artist, so therefore I have a very long term experience in drawing since when I was 3. It is something I was self taught to myself. It's something I've done for like in the last like the last 2 decades, I guess, at this point. But so yeah, I think that's all I want to say right now. I mean, there's a lot of things about me I'm into, like Japanese culture and anime, the paranormal, conspiracy theories, filmmaking, animation, and all sorts of things I'm really into. Oh yeah, and martial arts. So you see, right now I don't really have a script or anything. All I have is my little notepad here, and I'm just writing everything I need to remind myself what I need to say, so I don't get like, sidetracked or whatever. But so this is really the first time in a long, long time that I'm actually gonna make a video I want to upload for YouTube, and I'm gonna explain what's been going on with me, and if anyone who wonder why I look familiar, for anyone who have ever watched any fails from the user I mentioned, whose name is korn2012NWO, which again that was the name of my old user channel. Sorry, my old username for my YouTube channel. Again, I wish I had a script right now, but I don't. I'm just saying what's on my mind right now. I try to prepare myself for this video because I don't know what to do at this point. So, anyways, I guess I could talk about myself when I'm on Facebook because it's easier that way. But now when I'm doing a vlog video, which by the way, this is my first time doing this. But oh, I forgot to mention I also have high functioning autism, but again, I don't bring it up too often because it's not a big deal, it's not important. I don't think I am autistic anymore because, as you should know, when you get older, you outgrow it as you get older, anyways. And I don't have issues with social or communication skills or whatever. So, either way, it's not a big deal to me. But, anyways, so to get to the point of this video, I just want to say is this fail was made because of one particular reason. And what that reason should be exactly? Well, here's the thing. For like for like over a month now, there was a serious crisis I had to deal with that was happening on my YouTube channel. I mean, besides my own personal life, where I had to deal with stuff like getting my FAFSA filled out because I didn't remember information from last year when I first went to college for the first time in such a long time when I graduated high school back in 2012. And because I've been through so many struggles, or the fact I had to move out twice in the last few years, whatever. But the thing is, since over a month ago, I was not in control of my old YouTube account. So, as you should know, what I'm using right now is my newer account. And I had this account for the last few years now. I just never upload anything. So, technically, this is the first video I've ever uploaded onto this channel. So some of you might begin to wonder is what the hell happened to my old channel? Well, the thing is, someone that I never even heard or have ever seen before decided to take my channel and falsely claimed it as his own. So I was dealing with a hacker, and this bastard's name was Street Food. So I don't know anything much about this person. I don't know if this was a male or a female because this person has never identified him or herself. But all I know is that not only was this person a hacker, but this person was also a thief. But so before I get into any details about this situation, let's just start from the beginning. So first off, I would just want to talk about my old channel. So back in November 29th of 2009, back when I was only a high school sophomore at the time, I decided to open up my first YouTube channel. And I decided to think of a username, and I thought of, what if I call it korn2012NWO, just because for one, Korn was my favorite band, and 2012 is the year that I would graduate from high school, and also NWO is short for New World Order New World Order for those who didn't know what that initials mean. I only use that because for one, I love conspiracies, and two, I use that to associate with the year 2012 because people thought the world was going to end that year, even though I never believed it because it's bullshit. And I know it's not true in the first place. In fact, I don't believe the world will ever end on any particular date because we don't know when it will ever happen. But also, sorry for the mess up back there. So I'm having some sinus issues because, it's kind of like algae season or something, and I hear there's a wildfire crisis happening in California. So from what I heard, because of the smoke that's coming into the Midwest right now, it's causing allergies to get a lot worse lately this year. So that could be part of my reason why I'm having an issue with cover off mucus or whatever, but that's not the point. So if I screw up, that's fine. I'm not exactly a professional when it comes to stuff like this. But anyways, so when I opened up my YouTube channel, I was excited for the first time. I haven't uploaded nothing yet because at the time, because as you should know, this was the late 2000s, so web shows was still quite of a thing at the time, like, say, like Fred or The Annoying Orange, for instance. Even though I will admit I did kind of like The Annoying Orange a little bit, not as much, but Fred, I never really cared about him as much, except for my cousins. But anyways, the thing is, web shows were popular at the time, so back then I thought to myself, if you can upload and post whatever you want, what if I can create my own web show, and how am I going to do it? Oh yeah, I have a classmate in my high school who is a class clown and a comedian, and also not only is he autistic, but he has like OCD, so he's kind of a man child per se. So he's kind of like a year younger than me, but he kind of acts childish at times. He likes reenact and perform and pretend like he is either a cartoon or he reenacts things from a movie or a comedy or whatever. And he is a very animated person in nature. So I decided, what if I use him a little bit for my advantage and make him into his own show created by me, where I, tease him a lot and whatever and stuff like that, just because, he was easy to take advantage of back then. No, I'm not saying that I'm saying that to be rude or anything, because back then this was high school, right? I mean, not to be mean or nothing, but he's a good guy. But because he's so different back then, and I was a little more intelligent, and my other friend was, we were just one of those type of dumb guys who just want to pick and kind of tease this one dude due to his mental disability, I guess. I'm not saying he's mentally ill, but he's kind of like, he has a average IQ for his autistic spectrum. But either way, we're just these guys just like to tease him just for the fun of it, not just be mean or anything, because we do it because he's a funny dude. We liked him, so don't get the wrong picture here. But we thought since he's so animated, he's just so full of life, we just wanted him to do something. I thought I could explore his animated abilities to make it into a web show, because I carpool with this guy every day because we're from the same neighborhood. While my best friend Dax lived in Stillwater at the time. So the thing is, I there were times where I would record with my first older phone I had years ago, which was I believe it was a Samsung Instinct at the time. So I would record him during our carpooling from school to our homes or whatever, and I would edit some things. I would say like record footages of him being stupid or dumb or trying to act like a cartoon or whatever, or reenact movies such as Courage the Cowardly Dog or The Smurfs or whatever. He does that kind of shit. But again, I don't mind what he does because I think he doesn't really mind what he does for a living. But again, I do this when we're driving from school or when we go out on vacation and do something out of the community. He will do these things. And back then I thought, what if I make a little reality comedy web show called The Cartoon Boy Show? And why I came up with that name is because back then, funny story is that when I was in high school in one of our classes during I mean during my freshman year when I was at my high school at Lionsgate Academy at the time. Um, I'm sorry, I can't remember the class, but all I know is that we were reading a little article that discusses about a little story that talks about Jim Carrey when he was a kid, how he will use facial expressions to practice when he's acting, and how he got the name Cartoon Man in the first place. So all of a sudden I had an idea where I was like, wait, what if I give my friend Nate, again, he's the comedian I was talking about. What if I name him the Cartoon Boy? That would make a lot of sense. So you could say I wasn't exactly ripping off the name. I was inspired by that name. So while I was thinking, what if I give him that nickname? Again, this was high school, so we give ourselves nicknames or whatever we want to refer to ourselves as or whatever. But the thing is, I decided to go along with that name, and he's like, oh, that's cool. So he was okay with it, even though he likes to call himself Nathaniel, but we used to call him Nate. But whatever, he's just a bit of a perfectionist. Like I said, he has OCD, so that's just the way it is. He likes his real name than his nickname, but whatever. So I was coming up with this idea. We were gonna create this web show, but back then, even though we did have a computer at my house, it's just that, well, for one, I did not have any softwares or any equipments I needed in order to like say like create like have a movie editor where you can say like edit stuff like if you have like Sony Vegas for example, if you want to cut things out or fuse images together or whatever. But then there's also softwares where I want to add music on there. Back then, I only had was a Windows Movie Maker. It wasn't very professional then, but a lot of people on YouTube used to use those a lot back then, anyways. But the thing is, I was also concerned for another issue, and that was copyrighted music. Because back then, I want to add music into my video, so I want to create each different episode for one each week or whatever. But I'm concerned about if the music was gonna have copyright strikes at the time, so I was concerned about that as well. And also, when it comes to equipment, they usually are quite expensive, so I don't know how it's gonna work. Because back then, I never had a job back then. Because again, this was still high school. I lived with my grandma at the time, and I still do. And her only job was to take care of me because she was my legal guardian and my PCA. So she makes money as much as she could make. I mean, she does make a lot, but I don't think it'll be enough to buy certain equipments or, like, say, like softwares or whatever I need or a webcam. Who knows? But back then, we didn't have that kind of money to do something like that. But and also because when you're in high school, you have so many homework to do and whatever. So it was just too much for me, and I couldn't multitask at the time.